jury sentences this man, Marco Morales, to more than 7 decades behind bars after finding him guilty of rape. And that's where we start this week on your 5 News Plus Weekend Wrap. I'm Morgan Wrigley. 5 News reporter Bo Russell has been in the courtroom every day this week. He shares everything that unfolded in this 3-day trial.
Today, a jury found Marco Morales guilty of rape, aggravated assault, and terroristic threatening. On November 11th of 2024, Morales entered a woman's car in the Walmart parking lot on Walnut in Bentonville. He put a gun to her head and made her drive to a second location, where he would sexually assault her. This was an extremely difficult case to listen to in court, and prosecutors say that the jury did an amazing job of listening to all the evidence and coming to a just decision.
Impressive jury. They were really tuned in, really diligent. A really smart group, I think, that made a decision based upon the evidence that was presented.
Before the prosecution and defense rested today, the victim in this case took the stand. Prosecutors commend her for what a remarkably courageous job she did.
And the fact that she's still standing and was able to get up in front of a courtroom of people and talk about some of the most traumatizing events you could imagine is incredible strength.
Prosecutors are extremely grateful for the testimony provided by the victim today and say that in most cases, justice isn't served when victims don't testify.
Always have to put a victim on the stand, and it's a constant struggle. That is a reason that sometimes we plea a case out and there's maybe a little bit less punishment than we think is warranted.
Adam Rose, the defense attorney in this case, says his heart goes out to the families and it's a lose-lose situation.
My heart goes out to both parties involved in this case. This is a lose-lose. There's two families here that at the end of the day lose.
Morales has been sentenced to 72 years in prison. 62 of those years are to be served without the possibility for parole. If Morales were to parole out, he would be 83 years old. Covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
And an update on the Garfield man convicted of driving drunk and killing 14-year-old Gavin Bivens in 2024. On Wednesday, Gregory Payne was sentenced to 15 years in order to pay over a $1,000 fine. A jury found Payne guilty Tuesday of leaving the scene of an accident involving death, driving while intoxicated, and driving on an invalid license. We have an update to a story we've been covering. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation confirms the man wanted in connection to his parents' murders in Clayton, Oklahoma, was found dead in Texas. 35-year-old Jeffrey Scott Baker was found dead by what investigators say was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This was in Reeves County, Texas. He was believed to be in the Pushmataha and LaFleur County areas, as are in Oklahoma, shortly after the murders, but police in Texas most recently said he was spotted at a Dollar General in El Paso County. Baker was wanted for questioning in connection to the death of his parents, 70-year-old Barbara Baker and 71-year-old Fred Baker, found dead in their home in Clayton on September 11th. Investigators say there are no other suspects. Arkansas Game and Fish tells 5 News the victim in a bear attack this month in Franklin County has died. The attack happened near the Mulberry Mountain Lodge off of the Pig Trail Highway. The victim, identified as Vernon Patton, died last Sunday. He was reportedly working on a tractor on the side of the road when he was attacked by the bear on September 3rd. Arkansas Game and Fish called the attack unprovoked. They say the bear was put down. Necropsy testing continues on the animal's remains, and so far it's come back negative for both rabies and distemper. A Siloam Springs teen is in a Missouri jail facing charges in a deadly crash. The Missouri Highway Patrol says 18-year-old Lance Stockhauser was intoxicated when trying to pass another vehicle near Southwest City, Missouri, Sunday afternoon. Troopers say he hit another car head-on and 2 people in that car died. Another passenger was also flown to a Bentonville hospital. He's facing DWI charges according to jail records. And a former bus driver with the Rogers School District will spend a decade in prison for child sex crimes. Rafael Ballesteros pled guilty to sexually assaulting a student several times over a 2-year period. The victim told investigators the abuse happened while they were on the bus alone together. The judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison. Well, Fort Smith massage therapist facing sexual assault charges. 51-year-old Raymond Graham is now out of the Sebastian County Jail on a $50,000 bond. According to court documents, 2 clients reported Graham inappropriately touched them during their massages. An affidavit says this all happened last October at the Inner Peace Massage and Body Studio. Graham is charged with 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault, forcible compulsion. His next court date is Wednesday. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says 2 people are facing charges in connection to vandalizing a memorial for political activist Charlie Kirk. We showed you this video posted by District 7 Justice of the Peace Joseph Bollinger. On Wednesday, the sheriff's office said Carrie Rollo and Kaylee Rollo have been charged with criminal mischief. Kaylee is also facing obstruction of governmental operations. Some members of the Fort Smith community are calling on a city director to step down after he walked out of this week's city board meeting during a moment of silence to honor Charlie Kirk. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach talked to people at that meeting.
While some are calling for Ward 2 Director Andre Good's resignation, others want an explanation.
Things were going as normal. Director Martin announced that he was going to give a moment of silence. We asked us to give a moment of silence for each, both Rick Martin and Charlie Kirk. And at that point, I saw Director Good get up and leave the room. And I knew exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it. And I thought it was disrespectful.
That's what lawyer Joey McCutcheon says happened at Tuesday's city board meeting. In this video, board member Andre Good can be seen exiting the room during the moment of silence and returning after it ended. McCutcheon says while he supports Good's actions were his own rights,
but I strongly affirm his right to take that action.
He still wants an explanation.
Quite frankly, other than the fact that he obviously didn't like Charlie Kirk, I don't know why he walked out, but he needs to explain himself.
Since the meeting, people have taken to social media, some criticizing Good and asking he step down, others defending his decision.
We can get on Facebook and we can name call and do all those things, but let's have a discussion. I mean, what I want to do is ask questions and hear both sides so that ultimately we can arrive at the truth.
The city also released this statement saying they, quote, do not speculate on the intentions or motivations of individual board members. We also reached out to Andre Good to get his take, but we have not yet heard back. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Instances like this are happening across the United States. 5 News has reported on several situations regarding comments about Charlie Kirk's death leading to consequences, including the arrest of the 2 people we mentioned previously facing vandalism charges in Benton County. On a national level, ABC letting late-night host Jimmy Kimmel go over comments he made this week. It's clear people on both sides have many emotions and are passionate about their beliefs, and 5 News is committed to sharing all sides. Kirk's memorial is set for this Sunday. It'll be streamed on 5 News Plus. Coverage will start at noon. You can download 5 News Plus to your Roku or smart TV devices for free. In continuing coverage, the FBI is now investigating former Northwest Arkansas psychiatrist Dr. Brian Hyatt. The FBI is looking for potential victims who could have been held against their will at the Behavioral Health Unit. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer spoke with a few alleged victims who say investigators stepping in makes them feel seen and heard.
Seeing a pattern, and it just shows what a horrible, horrible, horrible person Brian Hyatt is.
William Van Wy says he was at the Behavioral Health Unit for 5 days in 2022 against his will.
And this was a hospital. You go there to get better. And when I was getting negatively impacted on my health from the hospital, it kind of makes you second guess everything.
Now, 3 years later, Hyatt and others at the Northwest Medical Center in Springdale are now being investigated by the FBI.
I am over the moon. I'm really excited that, people are stepping in and seeing the horrible things that he's been doing.
It's the same story for Leanda Ricks.
It took me a really long time to have any trust in any medical provider after that.
Fernanda Alcantara Martinez and hundreds of others who have filed lawsuits for the ones who haven't come forward yet.
Just knowing what I went through is real. And it's not just me. It's the story of hundreds of people that experienced this.
It's something these victims say is a relief.
The fact that the FBI is getting involved kind of sets the tone even further that these people weren't looking out for our best interests. They really didn't care if our mental health got better or worse.
In a way, it's healing to me to know that when his time comes that we will have our day in court.
Hyatt also faces Medicaid fraud charges in a separate criminal case. His trial date has been pushed back 3 times.
I hope the public finally understands what a menace he is.
Since Hyatt's initial arrest in 2023, he's been arrested 2 more times on charges involving alcohol. Right now, he's involuntarily committed to a treatment center. On Thursday, the state attorney general announced the city of Fayetteville is now in state law compliance after issuing an opinion Wednesday that the city was violating sanctuary city laws. AG Tim Griffin wrote in Wednesday's opinion that Mayor Molly Ron's statement back in June on the city not assisting ICE indicated a state law violation. But on Thursday, he reversed that opinion and said city leaders provided evidence the city was compliant. The AG said Fayetteville could have lost state funding if they weren't compliant, but now says the city is eligible. Meanwhile, the Fayetteville Advertising and Promotions Commission voted to allow the city's tourism director to return from paid leave. Ryan Hawk was placed on leave on September 5th after 3 different complaints were filed from city tourism employees. Hawk will return to work on Tuesday. The commission released a statement following the decision, saying in part, quote, "The commission takes all concerns seriously, and our responsibility is to ensure that experienced Fayetteville operates with professionalism, accountability, and respect for everyone we serve. We are confident that moving forward, Ryan Hawk will lead the organization in a manner consistent with our values and expectations." Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders sent letters to leaders of the Republican and Democratic parties Monday, beginning the process for filling the vacancy left in the state legislature by the death of Gary Stubblefield. In the letter, the governor requested the parties decide if they'll hold a special primary election or hold a convention of delegates. Both sides were asked to notify the governor's office within 10 days of their decision. Mark Berry and Brad Simon both announced plans to seek the Republican Party's nomination Monday. Berry is a retired member of the Armed Forces who also served 2 terms in the Arkansas House. He says his top focus will be safety and security for Arkansas communities. Simon is a small business owner from Paris who says he would oppose the construction of a prison in Charleston if elected. In a story you'll only see on 5 News Plus, we're hearing from a Northwest Arkansas couple who says what was supposed to be their dream turned into a financial nightmare. They say a daycare business purchase left them with $500,000 in debt. Now they're sharing their story, hoping no one else has to go through what they have. I sat down with them to learn what went wrong.
Larry and Brittany McDaniel thought they were chasing a dream when purchasing a daycare business.
Solely for the children to have like a preschool atmosphere, but also a lot of fun and hands-on sensory type activity.
The couple moved to Northwest Arkansas in 2023 and bought the Centerton daycare with the help of a business broker.
They gave us all the financials and everything, so we reviewed all of that, and it looked like, a dream come true. It said that they were profiting a lot per year, and we're like, wow, we have a lot we can reinvest into this.
We looked at all the numbers really closely and said, even with borrowing money and doing the SBA loan, we're still going to make a certain amount.
But 3 months in, the numbers stopped adding up.
We had about the same number of children enrolled. We were operating basically the same ways. We had even made cutbacks, and we still were not making ends meet.
Going through the financials late one night, Brittany says she found records left on a computer at the daycare that showed nearly $100,000 in COVID relief grants had been counted as regular revenue, not temporary aid, making the business look healthier than it was.
Reviewing this, it's almost to a T, to the dollar, $100,000 difference, what you're producing versus what they said was to be produced for a year. Went back and forth with the bank, and they said, unfortunately, you're just in a tight spot. There's really nothing that we could do.
They tried to save the business, even pouring in tens of thousands of dollars of their own savings.
It was a struggle from one month to the next, and we just couldn't make it in the end.
Now, the daycare is closed. The McDaniels are in bankruptcy. Because their SBA loan was personally guaranteed, they're responsible for repayment even after closing. They've contacted law enforcement, federal agencies, and regulators, filing complaints at nearly every level, but no one has taken their case.
At this point, there's no one that can hold or that's willing to hold them accountable, and we're out of funds to be able to do so.
I just would like to see someone take a look at our case and tell me, why are we being held responsible for someone else's crime?
The FBI did investigate the case and passed it to the U.S. Attorney's Office Western District. We asked a spokesperson there why the case wasn't pursued. He says after reviewing the full situation, the U.S. Attorney's Office determined this was better handled as a civil case. But for the McDaniels, with nearly every dollar they earn going to repay the loan, they can't afford to pursue it in civil court.
Where is our assistance? Where are the safeguards? Where are the protections for people that get SBA loans that can prove to you, like those documents I showed you over there, in black and white, Where are our protections?
A legal expert at the University of Arkansas tells me, unfortunately, it's not uncommon for business buyers to be disappointed after a sale. He says that's why it's critical to have an attorney involved before signing a deal, not after problems arise. Lawyers can verify that the business is what the seller claims, make sure financial promises are clearly spelled out, and even structure payments so buyers don't overpay if the company underperforms. Most importantly, they can protect personal assets like homes and savings, keeping them separate from business liabilities.
The McDaniels say they want to see stronger protections for small business buyers like them and an agency that can step in when fraud is suspected. And as they continue to fight for change, they want to share their story to prevent this from happening to someone else.
Make sure that you check the financials and ask about any grants or any potential not traditional revenue, how they would receive it, and make sure that all of the revenue that they receive is something that's going to happen year after year.
We have reached out to the sellers of the daycare that McDaniels purchased multiple times with no response. Meanwhile, Fayetteville is taking a big step to improve housing accessibility and affordability. The city is announcing the start of the Department of Housing and Community Services, formerly known as the Community Resources Department. Claire Everbach spoke with city leaders who say the department will focus on making housing accessible for everyone.
We want more people in homes. It's very simple and very succinct.
Fayetteville Mayor Molly Ron says this approach allows departments to work toward a common goal: more housing for residents.
We want to help have more available housing in the city and also help connect people with that available housing.
Marley Stark is the city's first chief housing officer.
Really thinking about projects that will meaningfully accelerate affordable housing production in Fayetteville. Really thinking about how we can focus on creating mixed income communities in Fayetteville when we think about new development.
Stark says they rely on the latest housing numbers to guide priorities, ensuring that programs are both data and community driven.
We just got sort of the latest numbers for 2024. They do kind of a staggered release, where in 2025 we're looking at 2024, not only sort of continuing the tradition of being data driven in our housing work, but also thinking about kind of what layers of new data we can bring into the process as we're thinking about how we want to approach community services in addition to housing moving forward.
Shonda Tapley, executive director of the Fayetteville Housing Authority, says working with the city is key to making housing more accessible and affordable.
Extremely low income, very low income, it's important to have that accessibility. And I think by partnering with the city, we need to strengthen, local, state, and federal partnerships to increase the accessibility, and affordability.
And Tapley says this collaboration is about more than just units.
It's about more than just units and programs. It's about creating opportunities for our families, our veterans, and individuals to thrive.
Fayetteville leaders also say they recognize that more than half of the city's residents rent. They say this will remain, quote, top of mind as they work to increase housing accessibility across the board. Well, sewer rates in the city of Taneytown are going up. Taneytown is now the latest city in northwest Arkansas to approve a sewer rate hike. Bentonville voted on a similar increase just weeks ago, and Springdale did the same earlier this year. As 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer found out, city leaders say this extra money is crucial.
Amber. Yes. Motion passes.
Council members voted to approve an 18% across-the-board increase, impacting residents, commercial, and industrial customers.
Everything is costing more. Our maintenance and operations is costing more. We've got to add more employees to be able to take care of the system. So our costs are going up. We've got to make up that difference.
For the average resident using about 4,000 gallons of water a month, the increase will be around $4 to $5.
I'm frustrated that we have to raise them. Honestly, I'm a ratepayer too.
Director of Public Works James Clark says this won't be the only increase.
Unfortunately, we're going to be seeing rate increases every year, probably at least for the next 5 years, because everything just keeps getting more expensive.
Councilmember Tim Burris says he would like to see developers shoulder more of the costs.
I think if we ask citizens to pay their 100% share, that's fair. However, what I think is not fair is that up to now we're asking developers who come into town to only pay 50%. We're encouraging a group to get tax subsidies from the city when the citizens have to pay their full amount.
The new rates were set to take effect September 19th. Bills due November 15th will reflect the updated rate schedule. And as the population growth in Northwest Arkansas continues to soar, so does the demand for drinking water. New numbers from our partners at Arkansas Business detail the rise in water demand. The Beaver Water District says water sales have climbed more than 30% since 2020. Bentonville saw the biggest jump, up more than 65%. To keep up with that demand, the district is closing on $100 million in bonds this month to help pay for expansion. It's part of a $500 million project expected to be finished by 2030. The Arkansas Trucking Association is putting fears to rest in light of Governor Sanders' announcement to send the National Guard to assist ICE with immigration enforcement. With the Trump administration's push on immigration policy, some trucking companies have growing concerns. In Arkansas, the state's Trucking Association reported 92% of manufactured goods are transported by trucks that drive through the natural state. Legislation puts strict regulations on drivers in the state if they don't meet qualifications. Right now, the president of the Arkansas Trucking Association says that's not an issue, and there's a plethora of drivers. She says their main focus on drivers is if they're qualified or not.
So our position on immigration is really indifferent to that. Like, our position is the driver qualified? Is he medically qualified? Is he safe? Does he have the proper training and the credentials? And so across the board, you see these efforts to try to make sure that everybody's playing by the same set of rules.
Newton says that also includes operations like carriers who legally employ visa drivers from Mexico and Canada. Arkansas farmers say they're struggling. One of the biggest challenges right now is prices to produce crops aren't matching the money they're making back. Whitney Isbell Jones runs a family farm near England. She says on the outside her farm looks to be doing well, but if you look at the books and the money they're making, it will tell a different story.
Rice prices are about 30% less than they were last year. So 30% is a lot, and that is something that we can't control whatsoever. And also what we can't control are our input costs, and we know that everything in the world is more expensive than it was a year ago.
Some have discussed an updated farm bill as a solution to some of these problems, which would add billions of dollars of assistance for farmers. However, Congress has not been able to agree on a new one, meaning they've simply extended a 2018 farm bill for the time being. Monday, local families got a new nature-focused option for therapy needs. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach went to the grand opening of a therapy farm. She shares the impact many believe this will make.
This is the new Pediatrics Plus Therapy Farm in Little Flock, just outside of Rogers. And while they're here, employees tell me that children will be able to interact with these animals behind me. But that's only a piece of what they offer.
The sights and sounds on the farm are all part of the care that Senior Director Susan Martin says this therapy farm offers.
Their children can enjoy the outdoors, they can learn functional life skills. We can work on things such as doing laundry, cooking meals, going out and picking your food, and using it in recipes.
Furry friends are there to help children navigate feelings.
It helps with controlling their emotions and their body. They have to learn to do that to be able to interact with the animal safely. And we have 2 donkeys, 2 sheep, and chickens currently.
Vice President of Operations Samantha Hamilton says the farm balances real-world learning with outdoor play.
We're able to teach kids some transitions into how to function in real life and how to do things in real life, but also how to enjoy nature, how to enjoy the world, how to take care of a house, how to take care of themselves and each other, and all in a beautiful setting.
Their main goal is to use this method to treat the whole person.
We have collaboration of those therapists regularly to make sure that we are treating the whole child and what they need, and to make sure that that they're able to grow in all areas.
Hamilton says just being outside brings benefits.
Just getting them away from screens, getting them away from the inside, and teaching them how to work with each other.
Martin says the site being intentionally designed to feel like a home makes a big difference.
You're walking into a home environment. So it is much easier to carry over skills that we teach here at home because it's like a home.
Employees tell me they plan to add more activities and even some more animals. And while one of the sheep did try to eat my skirt, they are still pretty cute. In Little Flock, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Thanks, Claire. Well, the VA broke ground this week on a new outpatient clinic that will provide services for veterans in Bella Vista. The new clinic will be located on Forest Hills Boulevard near the Bella Vista Lutheran Church. VA officials say the hope is to provide health care access under one roof without having to drive to the VA in Fayetteville.
Veterans have sacrificed so much, and we want to be able to provide care for them. So what we're offering is the veterans can come and get all of their care under one roof. They're going to get regular primary care. They can get mental health services. We're going to offer women's health programming for them. They can draw their blood. They can have x-rays. So it's really a one-stop shop for our local community and our veterans.
The outpatient clinic will be affiliated with the Veterans Healthcare System of the Ozarks, opening in 2026 and expecting to serve about 4,000 veterans. The festivities around the 2025 Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship Tournament are taking place at Pinnacle Country Club in Rogers. Tuesday, fans enjoyed the grounds with free admission, and a big donation to a longtime tournament partner was announced. For 19 years, the Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship has partnered with the Northwest Arkansas Food Bank. Tuesday, the tournament, Walmart and Tyson Foods announced a major donation to help local families in need. Food Bank got a $20,000 check to help support its new facility in Lowell, along with a 40,000-pound protein donation from Tyson.
Food Bank has packed 1 million pounds of protein since January, just in 7 short months. So that protein is going across the nation and right here in Northwest Arkansas to feed our neighbors that are in need.
The championship tournament is happening this weekend with the final round on Sunday. You can find more information about the events on our website, 5newsonline.com. Well, the nation's oldest active professional musical organization is playing in a special concert in Springdale next month. The president's own Marine Band will take a tour stop at the Don Tyson School of Innovation Performing Arts Center. The band was established in 1798 by an act of Congress. The 150-member group is led by Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Nolan, the 29th band director in its history. He says he's very excited to highlight the Marine Corps' special anniversary.
This year marks 250 years of the United States Marine Corps. So we'll be making sure to highlight that anniversary on every program throughout the month of October. We turn 250 on November 10th, so it is just about upon us here.
Tickets are already sold out, according to the school's director of bands, just a day after being available. The concert will take place on October 15th. Well, thank you for watching the 5 News Plus Weekend Wrap. While you're here on 5 News Plus, you can check out our latest newscasts, our weather impact forecast on demand, along with other original content from the 5 News team. Have a great weekend.